We're just waiting for one more person. Hi, Fred. Thanks for coming.
Anyways, how was your day?
It's been good. And okay. So cold here.
Right, yeah.
How's everyone else? Thanks for like volunteering. If you guys are volunteering. Just waiting for Sandhya to come in. Sandhya is the postdoc who's been helping us with the meta. Oh, okay. Hi, Sandhya.
Hi.
Hi.
Is this a better time for most people than 4 o'clock?
I think so. Most people responded to like 4 or 4:30 and after.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I think we're like missing like 3 people.
Okay,
Make it today.
can wait for them.
I don't know if they can make it though. I think some of them can't make it today.
Okay.
Yeah. So I might just start and then record the meeting and then send it to the 3 of them instead.
Okay.
Recording in progress.
Does it say recording? The meeting's recording now? Okay.
Yeah, I see like the button. I mean the red dot. Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so I sent out the search results. I don't know if everyone saw it. I attached it to like the last email. And I'll just share my screen. Maybe like give like a thumbs up if you guys saw it or something. Or have the sheet, because that's the Excel that you guys will be working on. It's this one and it's the GI. Do you see it, my screen right now?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay. It's the GI and CBD search results sheet. Fred, you got it, right?
Yeah, you sent it.
All right. Okay. So I think I've talked to some of you before, or at least the like Jackson and Ewan and Mandy. I haven't talked to some of the other people before in this group, but just let me know if you guys are confused. I think you guys have volunteered at Dr. Jenkins' clinic, so you guys know. Maybe have experience with helping in a meta, but I'm just gonna do this with everyone. I think it'll be easier if we all like we just like did a few together. I've separated like kind of evenly between everyone. So for the NFS students of this class, I gave a little more because it's like part of your project. I just gave you guys a bit more, maybe like 3,500 papers. So Elin, Jackhoon, and Jasmine will be working on 3,500 papers. And Fred, are you okay with 2,500 papers-ish?
Yeah, sure. That's,
And yeah, okay, that's perfect. And then I paired you with Mandy. So for when we code it, we like I partnered you guys up with someone at least, and they'll be coding the same papers as you will be, and it's like numbered here. And then you will just have to be meeting with that person every like maybe 500 to 1,000 papers you review, and then compare your codes. So for so it'd be like Fred and Mandy, and then Elin, you'll be paired up with Jackhoon, and then I'll work with Lori and Erica, which they're both not here today, so I can just meet with them later, and I'll also meet with Jasmine later. And then Shazia, correct me if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. You can work with Jessica, and then Alexandra will be working with Maria. And I don't know if you guys are all here today, but yeah, we can sort that out later. But I'll just show you guys how to code a few of the papers. Has everyone, like, who hasn't worked on a meta before? If anyone wants to maybe speak up or show their camera, that would be great.
Somebody left a message.
Oh, sorry, I can't really see the message box when I'm sharing the screen. Okay, so I think everyone is kind of new to doing a meta. Okay, so basically we've basically taken we've done a search on 3 databases, and then now I've like exported all the papers that are associated with the topic of interest that we're looking at, which is the glycemic index or glycemic load. We're looking at the association of the glycemic index and load with cardiovascular disease outcomes. And so now that we have searched it through, we got around 19,411 papers. I've exported this all onto an Excel sheet. And what we're going to be doing and what you guys can help us do, because there's a lot of papers, I've split up the papers between everyone. And we're just gonna go through the title and the abstract. And we'll see if it is something that relates to our topic. And there are a few review codes that that we use when we're coding that we'll be putting down in this column C. And I can kind of go through each one with you guys, but I think it'll just be easier if I showed you the example. So let's see, I wrote some down. Okay.
Are you looking for duplicates, Teenie?
Yeah, I'm just like I did a few just to show like what
You know, guys, I wanted to tell you, I think it's easier. I know for the previous meta we use numbers for coding and stuff like that. I think it's easier if you write it down if it's a duplicate.
okay.
It's so much better when you are working on your consort.
Yeah.
Instead of every time going and look what each number meant. I actually lost my mind a bit when I was working on the hypotension meta, and I had to work on the consort. It's just so much easier when you write down duplicate, no supplement of interest or no outcome of interest, so that the person working on the consort would know what's happening. It's just easier.
Yeah. But like one thing we have to keep in mind is like we have to write it the exact same way, right? In order for like
yeah, Excel will just automatically do it for you.
Oh.
Yeah. Once you start writing, you'll just get used to it. Don't worry.
Okay, that makes sense. I'll just change it now, but
yeah, so like all the 6 would be like not of interest or something like that. Right?
Yeah, so I use the numbers, but for us, I guess we should write it down. And then so 6 is no exposure of interest.
Yeah.
1 is duplicate. 3 is like commentary letter, reply abstract. So I'll just show you, for example. So we're just gonna be going through title, abstract. And I just kind of read through it, and what our exposure is we're looking for a glycemic index or glycemic load. And when I read this abstract, they say nothing about the glycemic index. This might be because like this might have come up in our search because there's like glucose or glycemic control. You'll see a lot of that. So once you've kind of read through it a bit, you'll also see like, oh, the title doesn't really even relate to our topic. We'll just write no exposure of interest. And also there is a hierarchy to it. So if the paper is a like for example, it's an animal study, and it's also not it doesn't have the exposure of our interest, we would still put animal study first. And yeah, and the table here, I also wrote exposure of interest is glycemic index and glycemic load, so that you guys can see that as you code. And then, so I kind of looked through all of these. Here we have, here is another example. So it's a meta-analysis, but it also, so it's like long-term glycemic control reduces retinopathy risk. And I like I just can skim it a bit and I can tell that there's nothing about glycemic index or glycemic load. So again, I would do no exposure of interest, and you'll see that in the review codes as well, that there is a code for meta-analysis as well. But because it's no exposure of interest first, before meta-analysis, we're going to put no exposure of interest. So again, no exposure of interest. And you won't have to type the full thing because, again, Excel will recognize that you've written this already. And then, so I read through all of these, and they all are kind of about like glycemic control. So I said no exposure of interest. Oh, someone is joining again.
I think the thing we got like confused last year was like glycemic index and load is like about the diet, about like the property of the food, but then like glycemic control is about like homeostasis, like something physiological, and that's not what we're focusing on. Like,
yeah,
exactly. Like using that, yeah.
Just to clarify, you don't need to put both codes, just the first one that applies.
Yeah, the one by priority. So it's kind of like a flow chart. I think that's like easier to like example to think about it. Like, is it a duplicate? Yes or no? Then if it's yes, you put like duplicate. If it's no, then like you move on to the next one. Is it like protocol? Yes or no? Then
yeah, exactly. So you just go down the list.
Yeah. And I think protocol we said last year was like if it's instructions, right?
Yeah, it's instructions, and sometimes they say it like, for example, here I coded it wrong. It's not 6 actually. So in the title it says a protocol for a systematic review. And this is also about
Like
something that doesn't relate to glycemic index or load as well. And if you look again onto the review codes tab, it's a no exposure of interest, but the protocol is number 2 on the list. So we would put protocol instead of no exposure of interest. So
protocol also means like proposal, right? It's like them suggesting, I think, right?
Sorry.
Oh, sorry, I'm just like contains the method and procedures study only. That's what we wrote down last year, I think.
Yeah. Contains only the methods, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then again here, this is about bariatric procedures. And this is clearly not an exposure of interest. So we again write no exposure of interest. And then here we have, so you'll see a lot of studies that end with like supplement. And you can already know that that's an abstract when it says that. So abstract is number 3 on the list, and you would write abstract. And sometimes it won't be very clear just by looking at the abstract and the title. So sometimes you might have to search it up online and give it like a quick read, or look at how PubMed might like classify it. So for this one, I would write abstract. And then here we have a duplicate. So I found a duplicate of, wait, sorry. Yeah, so for 429, paper 429 and paper 5684, you'll see that the abstracts are complete, like exactly the same. And so duplicate was number 1 on the list, so we don't have to write no exposure of interest, we just write duplicate. So is this one 5685 and 56 and 428, they are duplicates. So again, I'll write duplicate. And you'll find that there are a lot of duplicates because we searched through 3 different databases, Medline, and you'll see it on column 2. We searched through Medline, Cochrane, and Embase. And so we found that this paper was found in both Embase and Medline. And so that's why we have a duplicate. And then here is another example. So you'll read the title, metformin in overweight and obese woman with gestational diabetes. And I can already tell like this might not be a population of interest. So here I also we wrote down the population that we aren't looking for. So we're not looking at children, pregnant women, breastfeeding women, or people with chronic infections like HIV and AIDS. So if you see that the study is on any of those types of people, we don't want to include them. So here you can see, if you read even the abstract, it'll say, you can look at their methods. So they did a retrospective observational cohort study involving pregnant women. So already you'll know that that's wrong population. So you write wrong population. And wrong population is above like no exposure of interest on the review codes. So even if it wasn't an exposure of interest, we will write that it is the wrong population. And then to give you the last example, here, I found a full review, which is the last on the list. So full review means it's something that we think that we want included in our study, and it relates to our topic of interest. So I read the title, high dietary glycemic load and glycemic index increased risk of cardiovascular disease among middle-aged women. And then I will read the abstract as well. And it does seem that they are looking at the glycemic index and glycemic load, which is our exposure of interest. And then we look at their outcomes, and they're looking at CVD. CVD outcomes are the outcomes of our interest as well. So that's why I said full review, and this is a prospective cohort study and not a meta-analysis or a review. So we, I would code it as a full review. And then here, this one is the exact same paper again. So I coded it as one, and I would say we don't need two of the same papers again. But yeah, that is about the just kind of how you do it. And outcomes, just to be clear on what outcomes we are looking for in our paper, is myocardial infarction, stroke, heart failure, myocardial infarction mortality, stroke mortality, heart failure mortality, total CVD, CVD mortality, all-cause mortality. And that's all written down in under the tab review codes. And if you find a meta-analysis that is looking at the exposure of interest and also looks at the outcome of interest as well, then we do keep it. We'll write meta-analysis and we'll review it again so that we can look through what papers they included in their analysis and see if we've missed anything that we want to include in ours. So yeah. Does anyone have any questions, or do you guys have anything to add?
I guess you could go over like some like in one of the results you see zeros, right? Or like in some of the cells you see zero. Like what do you do?
Oh, sure. Okay, so sometimes like they don't have an abstract. When we exported it, they won't have the abstract there. So I'll look at the title and then I will also, this already says commentary, so I'll just put down, like sometimes it's easy like that. So you can just put down commentary, but sometimes if it's not as easy to tell, I would go to the actual paper. I'll copy and paste it onto Google and then look on PubMed, kind of skim the paper, or sometimes they'll tell you like what kind of paper it is and you can write it down. And for this one, again, this is wrong population because this is childhood and adolescent diabetes. So I'll say wrong population. And then, yeah, so for this one, I guess it's not as clear. So I can copy and paste it, and it takes some searching sometimes. Make sure it's the correct paper. You can compare with the authors as well. And so PubMed sometimes will tell you, oh, this is a comment. And so you already know that that's not something you're looking for, because we're not looking at commentaries. And so we can exclude that already and we can write down commentary. But it sometimes won't be as clear. So you need to search it up if that's the case. Yeah. So any other comments or questions? When we go through studies, should we be using the all database tab? Okay, yeah, that's a good question. So I would use the databases sorted by authors. So that when you see a duplicate, you'll kind of, because all databases is sorted through each database and then sorted by author, you'll kind of see that the same authors will be grouped into one, and then it's easier to spot duplicates when it's sorted like that. Yeah, no problem. Anything else? Is there anything unclear or So usually so for example, I'll probably meet with Erica. So again, I'll show you guys who's doing what, but Fred is going to be with Mandy. So I would code like maybe the first 500 and go through the first 500 papers, and then I'll look, and then I will have a meeting with the partner that you're coding the papers with. So after like the first 500, Fred and Mandy can come together and then compare their Excel sheets to see if there's anything very different. And then if there's something different, you guys can talk about whether or not, and try to come with a code that you guys both agree on. And then like maybe after like, and then you guys can again go through the codes again, and then come together maybe like once a week or something. But yeah. Any concerns, problems, anything at all? Is there something you want to say, Santia?
No, I was just thinking, the best way for the students to learn is to just start it. No matter how much training you get, you won't understand it until you get into it and start doing it. You will, like, I'm pretty sure Fred and Teenie can vouch for it. Like, once you start working on it, you'll get it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not rocket science.
Yeah, and it definitely gets faster, like looking at it as you do more and more of it. So
yeah. Oh yeah,
that's a question about the deadline.
Yeah, when do you want it done, Teenie? When do you want them to start?
I guess
like baby steps, like the first 500 and like,
this week,
a week or 2 weeks or something like that, and like space it out and see like how it goes, right?
Maybe our first meeting, I don't know if we want to meet as a whole group or just meet with our partners, but yeah, we'll just maybe try to code 500. If you can do more, but if you need to do less, but first 500 by next Monday, maybe. Is that okay with everyone?
I think that's very doable if the students are okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yes, that's true.
Oh, yeah, sure. And also, sorry, I guess this is a separate conversation, but like the NFS students do they have to have some results before their first presentation?
We didn't really have results last time, right?
No, I don't think you do. You need to have your research question and the methods, what you're going to be doing. So I think Yilin, Jakun, and Jasmine didn't join, right?
No,
but they have to present. They have to present the search terms like you did. You can share your presentation with them, and they can use it as a reference if you're okay with it.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll set it to them.
Fred is here too. Fred's presentation was nice too.
Share mine too.
Yeah. So, okay, I'll stop talking. I'll let Teenie and Fred take over.
Okay. I mean, that's pretty much it. If there's no more other questions, I'll set up another meeting. Is everyone okay with this time, at least this group of people, for next week?
Like a group chat or something. Oh yeah, there's like what?
Oh yeah, that'll be good. So maybe everyone can send me their numbers. Does everyone have WhatsApp?
Well, like Messenger maybe.
Or Facebook Messenger?
I don't know. Okay. Somebody could like say Messenger or like WhatsApp on the chat maybe. I don't know. I see one on WhatsApp.
Okay, I think it'll be easier if you guys email me your numbers, your phone numbers, and then I'm gonna add everyone to group chat. And then if you guys have any questions during the week, just you can text the group chat. I'll give you my number as well, and then you can text either me or Fred, because Fred has also been working on this for a while now. So yeah. Okay, great. So email me your numbers and I will add you guys into a group chat. I think WhatsApp is the way to go. But yeah, thank you for coming to our meeting. And I think we're all done here.
Yeah. See you, Jeannie.
Thank you.
Recording stop.